Reading is an expensive hobby, but luckily I have a YouTube channel which is paying me in pennies. So this time I received some cash from YouTube and I invested that in books. So I'm planning to do a video series or a challenge video where I have to read 30 books in the next 30 days. And that's why I'm recording this video with you guys so that you can be my accountability partner and I can continue this challenge. Hello everyone, my name is Roshan and on this channel I talk about spoken English learning and sometimes books. So today is March 4, Holi. So I don't have any classes today. So I thought this is the perfect time to record this video. It's 2:15 p.m. and I think I'm going to start the challenge right after I finish unboxing everything. And I already own some 1600 books and I ordered 16 more from Amazon. So let's unbox them and I'll tell you why I want to read them. Lord of the Flies by William Golding, and I think he's an American author and I have been enjoying reading American literature a lot. So that was the reason why I purchased this and it is under 250 pages. So it's gonna be a challenge. Then we have 4 books in this parcel. Yes, and I also wanted to read Indian authors, so I made sure that I have ordered 4 or 5 books from Indian authors. This one is from Kushwant Singh, Train to Pakistan. So it's a very popular book in our country, and I wanted to read this, and I think it is under 200 pages, or exactly 200 pages. This is a book called The Little Prince. I think it is translated from French. I'm not really sure, but I watched a movie on this animated one, and this book is basically for kids. So the language is easy, but it's a very beautiful story. And I wanted to make a video for my spoken English viewers. So I will make sure to make a video on this. And I think I'm going to be making a video on every book. So 30 videos. The next one is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I have read one drama from Oscar Wilde and I really loved his witty writing. So looking forward to this one. And then a very thin book which I guess I will be able to finish under an hour, I guess, by Ruskin Bond, The Blue Umbrella. The next parcel we have I have 4 books and these are from American authors. The first one is The Pearl by John Steinbeck. I hope the name is correct. This is under 100 pages. I have watched this movie called Call Me By Your Name and it was a beautiful movie. It's for adults. If you don't know anything about that movie, I highly recommend it and you are going to love the cinematography, the story and how beautifully it is shot. So I wanted to read the book. So yeah, another book by John Steinbeck, Of Mice and Men. I have heard a lot of good things about this one and that's the reason I have got this. The next one is by Leo Tolstoy, The Death of Ivan Ilyich. It's a very thin book, very unusual of Russian authors. Usually they write like 1000 pages book, but this one is under 120. And I have read Anna Karenina from him and I really loved the way he explores all the human nature. So let's see how this one turns out. And the biggest parcel so far. So I have 5 books in this one also. This is The Years by Annie Earnux. This is a memoir and I haven't explored this genre. So that was the whole reason I wanted to read this. This book is called Nausea by Jean Paul and I remember this book was about a writer. So that was the whole reason I purchased this. So let's see how it turns out. Another book by Indian author Anita Desai, Clear Light of Day. And I don't know much about this, but this was in my read list in Indian author. So White Tiger by Arvind Adiga. I have watched the trailer. I think a movie or TV series is based on this and it's a really popular book among Indian readers. So I wanted to read Indian authors. That's why. One of my favorite authors, Albert Camus, The Fall. It's going to be a challenging read, language-wise, I guess, and it is under 100 pages. And I love his writing, the way it makes me think. And it's not very easy to understand those prose also. So it's gonna be a challenging one. So I have two. So these are 14 books. I'm waiting for 2 more. Let me check. One is from an Indian author whom I follow on Instagram, Riya Chopra, Never Logged Out. So I wanted to read this because it is about internet. So that was the reason I purchased it. The next book is same by the same author, Any Ear Knocks. Yeah, Any Ear Knocks. And I think these couple of books are going to arrive in a couple of days. And here are other books which I already own and that I will be reading in this challenge. Charlie and Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. He writes for children, young kids. He's a very popular author, and a lot of movies are based on his books. So his books are really imaginative, and also one of my favorite filmmaker, Wes Anderson. He loves his writing, so I also want to explore. And again, as a kid, I wasn't able to explore literature, so this is the right time. I really enjoy his writing, Ernest Hemingway, American author, and I have read a couple of books from him. So I'm looking forward to read this one, Green Hills of Africa. Ruskin Bond, Indian author. You have to read him a lot in your high school. So if anybody from CBSE board is watching, I think you guys are familiar with his writing. Then one of my favorite authors, Paulo Coelho from Brazil, Veronica Decides to Die. This has been in my bookshelf for forever. So yeah, I will read this during the challenge. Murakami, his writing is very simple to read, very easy to understand, and this is a non-fiction book. What I talk about when I talk about running. So I love this author. I love this topic, and I will be reading this. Another book by Albert Camus, The Myth of Sisyphus. This was gifted by one of my subscribers. I don't know whether I have thanked her here or not. So if you are watching, thank you so much for gifting this. It's a very difficult read. I have tried to read this even though this is under 150 pages, but the prose is very difficult to understand. So I think this is going to be one of the most challenging read of this whole challenge. Another book by Murakami, Men Without Women. So I don't know what to expect from this. Let's see how it turns out. I have tried reading this before, To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, and again the prose was very difficult to comprehend. I'm ready for the challenge this time. I got this book recently, Ways of Seeing by John Berger. It is about art. So it's a non-fiction book, how people see art, how they see things around themselves. So even lower middle class people like us can explore art, right? So that's the whole reason I want to read this. And again, I have been putting off reading William Shakespeare for forever now, but I will be reading these three dramas from him. Hamlet, I really want to read the original text because I recently watched Hamlet and that movie was beautiful. So if you haven't heard of this, you should definitely check that out. And then there is Romeo and Juliet and Othello. I have tried reading this, so I have read a few pages, but I will give it another go. And I recently finished two books from this series called The Hunger Games. So even though this book is around 456 and I am not sure whether I will be able to finish it one day or not, but I will try on maybe Sunday or when I don't have anything else planned. No videos, no editing. So 456, the longest book of this whole series. So there are a couple of more books in that list, but they are behind this shelf and I'm too lazy to get them right now. One is a collection of poetry by Khalil Gibran. So I will be reading that and maybe one story from Franz Kafka. So those two books are there. So these are 26 books, two there, two still maybe somewhere in a parcel. So I'll be reading these 30 books in the next 30 days. And today is March 4th. So I'm gonna be very busy for the next 30 days. So I'll make sure to schedule my day properly. And as I mentioned that reading is a very expensive hobby. So if you want to support the channel, please subscribe, share this video with somebody who is trying to learn spoken English. And I also provide online spoken English classes. So if you want to learn spoken English with me, then reach out to me on my number and I'll share the details. And let me know what do you think of this challenge and whether I will be able to complete it or whether I will fail it. So make sure to leave a few comments. If you have any book recommendation that you want me to read maybe in future, then you know what to do. Leave a few more comments and I'll see you very soon with another video.